Hi, I'm Adam. I'll be taking you through my day as an engineer. I'm currently on the mechanical engineering course in my third year of study out of four. I've got a busy day ahead, full of online sessions, group meetings, coursework, and a little bit of research reading to do. Normally, I'm on the main campus in Exeter. However, now I'm able to do the whole day from my bedroom, spending the majority of it in my house. I've just woken up, so I usually like to get up early to get some breakfast and browse the news before my first session of the day. So I've just tuned into my first session of the day. It's our Energy and Environment module, a module about renewable technologies and other similar technologies like that. I've just joined a session about presentation skills. This is as part of our upcoming group project where we'll have to present our proposal for how to make Exeter a more green city.
Representation, if you like, of presentations and how some people approach them. And in our experience, particularly on a physics and engineering type degree, people's attitudes to presenting can be different to if they're on other degrees. So we can't generalize too much, but these are just patterns that we've observed. And even within cohorts, there are very clear differences. So when I ran this session last year, I definitely noticed differences between some members of the cohort and others in terms of how they viewed presentations, and that's absolutely fine. I think Tony went through a session earlier in the course where we spoke about different skill sets, personalities in teams, and people bring different things to the table. And there's no rule that says you need to enjoy presenting, but nonetheless, in many roles of our work lives, presenting is an important skill or a necessary skill that if you don't love them, you need to somehow get through them.
So I managed to get that section of the coursework done, and I now have a nice report to show for it, full of diagrams and graphs. So I can leave that for the time being because I have a thermofluids tutorial at the moment, which I can tune into. This is regarding worksheets that were set each week, and so now I'm going to go through and continue marking it according to how he explains it, and yeah, we'll see how I did.
Third exercise is a petrol engine. So the petrol engine works without a cycle. And my first suggestion for this type of exercises is to start drawing the diagram, the diagram of the cycle. So you have there the pressure versus volume diagram, and with that you will know which one are constants and which one are not. So with that you have an idea that where the pressure is constant and where the volume is constant. You can also know.
So the tutorial is done, and that week's contents is now pretty much covered. I'm now going to take a bit of a break, make myself some lunch, and then I've got a group meeting in the afternoon, so I'm going to do a bit of prep work for that so that when we log on we can just get on with things. Yeah, see you then. Next, engineering, why I came here for this course in particular. When I first arrived, it wasn't on an open day or a planned off a holiday day. It was just a random day, and I was greeted by members of staff who noticed we were having a look around, and they offered to take us on a tour of the engineering department. And I just thought this set a really good
precedent for the type of sort of care and attention that I'd receive if I were to become a student here. They showed me around the facilities, around all the different 3D printers, which I'd often liked to use before, alongside stuff like computer labs and study spaces, where I could sort of see myself spending a lot of time quite comfortably. Following on from that, there was a lot of flexibility within the course when I started looking at the details. So instead of having to choose a specific discipline straight off the bat, so whether I wanted to be a mechanical engineer or electrical, they allow 1 year at the start to decide between whatever you want to do based on your experiences within that year. So that offered a lot of flexibility and peace of mind. And very similarly, you could extend your year, you could extend by a year into the master's program. So this added another year into education to stay at university, which I happily took, meaning I could then come out of it with an additional qualification and be an extra step forward in the engineering world when I left. So all these factors combined really just added to a gut feeling of this could be a place where I could be comfortable and somewhere I could excel in. So that's why I came to Exeter. So it's now time for my group meeting. This is again the energy and environment module as before. So I'm going to meet with my group about our project and how we can reduce emissions for the different accommodation blocks for first year halls in Exeter. What we're hoping to get out of this, we're hoping to look back on what we've done since our last meeting last week and set some targets for how we can stick to our timetable that we've established. So let's call in now. Hello. Yeah, I think you deal with oxygen and carbon separately, so you have to compress one and capture the other. But yeah, that's, as I say, that gets you the bulk of the marks, and then you add in like the transport costs, and there's like one more step. So yeah.
But the thing is, how do you convert the energy cost to actual cost in pounds?
Because there's the conversion factor. It's like, is it not just the grid price?
So you basically just take the average electricity price in the UK.
Yeah, it's like 17 pence per kilowatt hour. I think. I might be wrong. And so the group meeting is done. We've dished out all the tasks for next week. I've got to do a survey to collect data from first year students. I can get on with that later on in the week. The rest of the afternoon is more relaxed. I'm going to take a small break and then get on finishing off some more worksheets that need to be done for the end of the week. And other than that, things start to wind down. So lab sessions are a big part of the engineering course. Students will do them sometimes multiple times a term, depending on what year or what course you're in. They'll involve coming into labs and seeing a piece of equipment being used in an experiment. These experiments are often to demonstrate something that they've learned in lectures. For instance, they've been told how a fluid will act, but now they get to see the evidence for it in front of them. They'll participate in the experiment, and then they'll have to go away and write a lab report about it. These lab reports you'll do heaps of throughout your time at university, and often involved learning to do it in the correct structure that professional reports are also written in, so that anyone can read them and they're acceptable in the eyes of the scientific community. Okay. So as I mentioned, this will happen a few times throughout term, and will often introduce students to pieces of equipment. This can then act as an inspiration for what they want to use later on in the course when they have their own individual projects, so they can choose where they want to go with that. Personally, I always like the idea of using wind tunnels, so putting objects in a tunnel that's pummeled with wind to see how it would act if it was in a situation with lots of wind or fluid going over it, such as a car traveling at high speeds. So yeah, that's been my experiences of it. So we've now reached the end of the day. At this point, I usually go out for a run, and then I'll have dinner when I come back. When I'm not doing work, I enjoy doing sports at the university, such as for the water polo club. Clubs like these means you can keep social and also physically active throughout the year. We've tried to keep both of these features alive online so far this year. So we had a virtual social last night, in fact, where we've all joined a call to chat amongst ourselves, do little games and challenges, and meet any new members. We also do physical sessions online, so strength and conditioning exercises that will keep us fit and healthy for when the season returns at a later date. I hope you've enjoyed watching me today, and see you next time.